I was, ready to dial Nina, when a sudden overwhelm hit me tonight. My entire life I was trained to forgive and give space to everyone, which has made certain old friends feel a little stale. Our entire friendship has been based on the fact that I show up to the lives they build for themselves while they seemingly treat me like a popsicle in their freezer they forgot about. But when they decided to clear out their freezer, they were pleasantly surprised to find me, cherry flavored and not expired. Yet I heard this rule a long time ago. If they like the people that do not like you, they really do not like you. 2024 offered me a strong lesson: the ability to dislike people. Part of why I was raised to let and keep everyone in my life was because my abuser, aka my dad, wanted me isolated. It is very typical of malevolent people to isolate their victims and make them feel like the little love they get in this world is like water from a cactus in a desert. Enjoy the already drying drop. I carry that feeling for a long time, but suddenly I realize in knowing new people and becoming a new person, the lesson all my friends had taught me: we're all replaceable. Sure, no one is exactly the same, but I will laugh and love someone else again, and they will not like the people who dislike me. You've not spoken to Nina in a while, said Josie. They had done a Christmas weekend market, and Nina mentioned I had been MIA in her life while not seeing vice versa. Coughs in popsicle. I do not know. As someone who has had no boundaries or societal cues for when I am socially endangered, particularly in terms of another fleeting relationship with a person emulating my dad's abusive patterns, I just feel off with her, I declared, publicly psychoanalyzing myself. Okay, well, call if you want, replied Josie as she looked at the Zara special prices section. Nina swears that it is her Cancer and Libra placements that make her highly sensitive and obsessed with keeping the peace, but I don't think so. Her random tendencies to nitpick and to swear that all sides have fault with her, if, particularly with past friends like Andres, Lucia, the producer, would be appropriate if she actually brought people together and had a personality that was actually chill. Yet I was realizing that in surrounding myself with people that I feel compete with me in talent, personality, and promise, or at least feel I compete with them, I also surround myself with people that support them. Now, existentially shifting, I do not want that. I do not want to reach out to those that reach for people that think I should stay isolated. All right, let's heal. Let's discuss. Okay, so what I'm starting to realize is I don't really. Sometimes for some people, and I don't know if this is just me, it's not that you have a bad friend, you have a bad group. And I have, in being a floater, I've also kind of that person that has a lot of friends everywhere and goes from one group to another. I have been mixed in with bad groups, right? With people that just really didn't like me or enjoyed me because I made them enjoy themselves. And that's it, really superficial. And I've seen Nina get nitpicky. I've seen Nina, particularly, I mentioned Libra because as a friend with Libras, what I notice about them is they don't have best friends. They have people they hang out with, and their partner, their romantic partner, is their best friend. That is the love of their life. That is who they are living for, which is why breakups can feel like, put this person on suicide watch for them. And it could also mean, and it could also be why, as their friend, you're like, why are you overstaying in another toxic relationship? It's this feeling that like their world is just about their partner. And Nina doesn't have anyone necessarily. She has a lot of in developments, in distance, not the usual, I'm with somebody, this is for life, wrap me in a bow with this man. And I don't know how to measure because this is somebody that lives to be in love. I don't know how to necessarily measure friendship because I do separate them. I think that your partner is another best friend, but you should also have other best friends. Like, particularly because I came from a family that just lived for their partner or their kids, and they really didn't like their partner, and eventually they really didn't like their kids. Like, they just didn't have an identity beyond their closest family members. And that made it tricky for them when everybody got older, when everybody else got lives. And I was kind of, I feel like I was taught not to have a life because it's very typical of abusive parents to isolate their children. And my father isolated me, but he didn't necessarily do that for his, well, I don't know. I don't know what he did with all his families. I just know one of them in particular, with all of his supposed, because I think I spoke about that in a prior episode. I have, I might have more siblings, and it's something that I've always felt. And I, one of the reasons I don't reach out to the new ones is A, what if he treated them well? B, what if he didn't? C, what if they're just completely moved on? And sometimes people's closure, which I respect now after seeing the mess that it was reconnecting with my abusive father, is I cut off that whole section. I don't talk to those people anymore. That guy never paid a dime for me. He left me and my siblings. We're out. And I think my response to being so isolated by my father and told I deserved to be alone by him was to let everybody in and to be friends with everybody and never really have an anchor, because I was made to believe, which is so ironic because my father, in having multiple families and multiple wives and multiple affairs and multiple identities and multiple cons, he was a man of multiple, which meant he really didn't have an anchor. And when you don't have an anchor in your life, what you are is performative. And I think it's something that I completely, it's this it's this wall that I keep on driving into, because he gave me the bad performance and he gave some people the good performance. He gave some people the nice guy, he gave me the evil guy. And both of them, I want to say both of them were real, but what if both of them weren't real? In the sense of, he just, there was no depth to him beyond the mask he wanted to give in that moment. I think his malevolency, and I don't say that as a victim, was more true to him just because my father made one family a really solid mass for all this other stuff that he had been doing slash was doing. They were, and I guess what I wish was, I wish I was that mask. I wish I had gotten all the money, the kindness, the protection, because if my father wasn't giving to you, he was stealing from you. If he wasn't being nice to you, he was being mean to you. That was the thing about my dad. He didn't just leave. He made sure to abuse you enough to make you leave yourself. He wanted to hurt. And I have this laundry list of relationships that I chose where I ended up hurt. And Nina's friends with those people. And remember hearing somebody say, if they like people that dislike you, they don't really like you. And there are few people in my life that fit that MO. And as I grow and grow up and realize, the thing about meeting new people is not only that they become, you're meeting better people, but it's also that you realize, wow, I have a whole new group of friends, and all the people that I thought were irreplaceable, I don't really talk to them anymore. And that is what I'm focusing on with Nina, and letting go of friendships that just don't, that I don't feel fully safe in. I grew up and had, my father's abuse made me feel no one else will love me, no one else is coming in. It's either get spiritually sucker punched every day by this malevolent spirit, or die alone. And it's only when I said, well, I guess I'll die alone, that I realized I'm not going to die alone, that I'm actually going to have great friends, that I'm actually going to be loved, that I actually have a choice in who can enter my life. And it's almost like when they break you down enough, resistance is born and resilience is born. Because I was talking with Josie a few days ago. What I marvel in terms of my father's abuse was, he was a man obsessed with attention and legacy. and really thought that either didn't see me as it. Yet I will be his biggest legacy. I will be the reason, if anybody's going to remember my dad, it will be via me. That was the irony. And I think with Nina, it's this weird thing that she does of selective remembering. Andrew, I haven't spoken about the racist incident with Andrew yet, but it's this kind of her choice to ignore his racism, but like not ignore that I don't ignore it, is kind of like maybe this person doesn't like me that much. Or maybe this is a person that, obviously she lives with a harsher razor, more cutting razor to people that she deems friends and people that she deems romantic. But either way, why am I talking like that? Why am I making those excuses? Why am I not elevating enough to a space that holds people that I don't need to excuse why they abandon me, why they don't call me, why they think when I don't call them, they see that why they're, like the popsicle incident. The intro doesn't call me that much anymore. No dials on your end. And I don't want to chase people anymore. I have to chase my dreams. And when you grow up with a father that is so vitriolic in his abuse that you just take love from anything, even if it looks like love, but obviously talks and walks like Alien versus Predator, you you forget that you should have a life. And I spoke about that in Waiting to Have a Life. You forget that you should have an identity that is strictly yours. You should have your hobbies, your goals, your dreams. And for me, my dreams went from, being an astronaut to just having a safe friend. Like it's like they cut you to a point where you're a nub. You're just you were once a tree full of branches and you became a piece of bark, and I'm growing again, and I feel I deserve better from myself. And it's weird to hold relationships where people don't necessarily feel that or think that, or think somebody can be rude to you and you're the problem for not wanting to sit at their table anymore. So when I went to go call her after the Christmas, after Zara and hanging out with Josie, and something said don't. And before, that feeling would have chewed me up and spit me out. I would have been like, absolutely not. You have to be good to people. You have to be loyal. You have to understand where they are. And it was the first time in my life that I really let that feeling be okay and be like, you're right. Like I haven't gotten the text back. And she hangs out, she goes out, she probably goes out with them. And I don't want to be in circles anymore where everybody's gossiping about each other. I don't want to be in circles anymore where this is my flavor of the week. Next week I switch besties. I don't want that chaos. I really want focus and clarity and love. And there's something about Nina that both attracted me to her and also distanced me to her, and that we match that floater energy, that ability to be everywhere with everyone. And I never want to judge somebody for their responses and how they flow through life. But I think it goes back to the episode Megan, where here I was with somebody that was looking for serious, and I, in making everybody the same as her, I proved I was unserious. If somebody shows up for you, if somebody has never been racist to you, if somebody has been extremely kind and loving and reaches out to you, but you reach out to the people that don't reach out to you, you're not my friend. And you're not somebody I want to be friends with. And that has been, my dad, I think what my dad very appropriately saw was, here was this family that he was abusing versus another family that he was economically supporting and stealing for. And if he was getting the same amount of love and respect then good, then I don't mind terrifying and threatening and abusing this family if I'm still going to get the love. We didn't put any standards or boundaries. And I think it was because my mother just didn't want another generation of women in her family to be without a dad. The problem was I didn't have a dad. I had an evil spirit that was haunting me and telling me I deserved to be haunted, when really he was the menace. He was the haunted one. And I needed such a big brick of sage. And let me tell you, I like Nina, but I think there's an upcoming episode coming out about my relationship with like, because I always find it interesting, and it's something that I'm guilty of saying. I love them, but I don't like them. I don't know about that. That's something I want to change in me and really analyze. So look out for that episode. All right. Thank you for joining the Daddy Recovery series, and follow me on all platforms and check out Hardin on all music platforms. I really love you.